But then eventually he just approached me and said, "Hey mate, what are you doing here? What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm personal trainer. I actually specifically work in as a boxing coach." And he goes, "Awesome, cool. Well, I want you to train me." And I was like, "Okay." I think at the time I was just confidently like, "Yes, of course I can train you." Followed him on Instagram. Could see he'd obviously quite well set up in Bali, had some businesses, and I was like, wow, this could be a really great opportunity. I remember going home to be like really excited, like, wow, some money too,
some money to bring in.
Yeah. And
if we can afford, if we need to go to hospital in Bali again, we'll have some.
And I was like, where am I going to train him? I don't work at a gym here. I don't know what the laws and rules are, and I didn't have any focus pads at the time. I couldn't bring any over with me. I think my dad had posted some in the mail, but the mail was taking ages. So I'm like, all right, I just got to think on the spot. And I was like, right, I'll train him at a park. And I went to one of the Balinese boxing coaches and said, can I pay you to rent your pads off you? And he was like, of course, no worries. So I think I paid him like, I don't know, $10, $20 to borrow his pads for a couple of days. And then I was just thinking, right, I've got one session to impress this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do heaps of fancy stuff. I just want to show him that my boxing knowledge is really quite good. And I want to show him that I can teach him a lot. That was sort of my angle. And I rocked up, probably most nervous I've ever been for a session, even though I'd taken hundreds in my time. But yeah, I just broke down his technique and showed him that I could really improve his boxing and help him out. And we just sort of connected too, found out that he was just a really nice guy and he's quite switched on and business minded, and we just connected on a good level. And he said, awesome, so I want to train with you 5 days a week.
Awesome. Were you just like, yes?
And I was like, sounds good to me.
We live to fight another day in Bali.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get through another week. Long story short, we became really close mates, and he ended up building a boxing gym at his villa for me to train him out of, and all of his close mates and friends. And he helped us find better accommodation and had a big villa. And then all of a sudden the Bali dream started to come to fruition, and B started getting some work, doing some modeling for swimwear companies and other various things. And the Bali dream started to happen for us in the back half of our time there. And we adopted like a Bali dog and going to the beach in the mornings. And I was then, quite busy coaching boxing, and it all started to come together, which was amazing. People see personal training as an awesome, easy lifestyle. You set your own hours, and you work when you want, and it is like that, but it's not. Because you're relying on clients to pay your bills. And that gym was in a wealthy suburb, so a lot of my clients could afford holidays. So 2 or 3 weeks. Every few months they're away, so there goes your income. It's the most unstable job in terms of your income's always up and down. But yeah, if you work hard, you've got the ability to earn good money as well. But you've got to be available from 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning before work till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night after work. It's split shifts, trying to have a little nap in the middle of the day if you can. It's a lot of giving of your energy to people and programming, and a lot of back-end work to make your sessions run properly. And
people feed off your motivation, don't they? So you have to try to get yourself up for every session, which in a lot of jobs you don't have to do that. You don't have to be on all the time. No. Otherwise they can feel it off you. So it must be quite tiring when you're doing back to back sessions.
Definitely, yeah. Especially if you're a bit tired and you've got 4 or 5 sessions back to back in a row. There's a lot of deep breaths and you got this in between clients, and just keeping that positive energy going. It's very taxing. A lot of trainers unfortunately do burn out, and I think the time in the industry of trainers from when they start to when they finish, I don't know the exact stats, but it's very, very low. Very, very low, the amount of trainers that get a job in the personal training industry. They don't last much past 1-2 years, unfortunately, because it is a lot harder than they think.
Come out strong, want to do everything, and then just can't manage it.
They love the training, the common stories. They love health and fitness, they love training, and they want to pass their knowledge on to others, and then they don't realise the business side of it, how to get clients, how to sell themselves, sales, cash flow, being a people person, the amount of energy you got to give and everything. So it's quite challenging, but extremely rewarding if you can crack through those first few years. Definitely. That was the first time that we're not in Australia anymore.
Yeah.
We're in a third world country
Yeah.
because, they really saw two Westerners come into the hospital, and they were trying to charge us like over $1,000 just for a drip, and that's when we're like, yeah, okay, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to be hard here. The medical systems, unfortunately, not nearly as good as what we're used to back home, and that was a real challenge. So we ended up getting sorted and getting healthy and getting the pharmacy and getting the Hydrolite and rehydrating and everything. But that was one moment like, oh, we're quite vulnerable here. We're quite vulnerable here. They're not going to look after us as much as they're going to look after their own here. So we found that out the hard way again when we had a pretty severe scooter accident a couple of months after. Got rammed into the back of. I went flying over the handlebars. B somehow, like a cat, landed on her feet over the top of me. I went face first on the other side of the road. Oncoming car just stopped, and again, we were doing the right thing, just parked, going to turn, and we've got smashed up the back of, stationary, by quite a young Balinese girl and her sister. They would have been 13, 14 on this scooter, but all the Balinese came to help them. And we were in the wrong because we're Westerners, so that was another one of those moments, like, not that we don't belong, but we were the first time we'd experienced sort of being on the outside, which is quite a interesting experience for the first time,